Have you ever had a boss so incredibly toxic, a neighbor so painfully annoying, or an ex-partner so completely manipulative and snotty that you spent hours lying awake in bed, staring at the dark ceiling, desperately wishing you could get the ultimate, sweetest revenge? But of course, you're a civilized, rational person, so you can't exactly break the law, throw a heavy concrete brick through their front window, or get yourself arrested over some petty personal drama. You want them to suffer, but you want to keep your hands perfectly clean. Well, what if I told you that back in 2014, a group of crazy, borderline sociopathic entrepreneurs realized that human hatred, daily frustration, and the desire for cold-blooded revenge is actually a massive, untapped multi-million-dollar business opportunity. They launched a tech startup based on a business idea so unbelievably disgusting, childish, and stupid that every single traditional venture capitalist literally laughed them straight out of the room. But within just 30 days, this bizarre company became a global internet phenomenon, making an absolute fortune by shipping actual, literal animal poop in beautiful, high-end luxury gift boxes directly to people's mailboxes. This sounds like a ridiculous internet joke, right? But the genius behind this specific startup proved a fascinating, deep point about modern business and capitalism. You don't need a normal, logical, or highly sophisticated product to build a highly successful empire. You don't need a massive corporate marketing budget, and you certainly don't need to be a Harvard Business School graduate. All you need to do to completely conquer the market is tap into one of the darkest, most intense, and most toxic human emotions available in society: the burning, universal desire for pure, unfiltered, petty revenge. It all started back in 2014 when a young coder using the online pseudonym Peter was sitting at his computer, listening to his close friends furiously complain about their lives. One friend had an abusive manager who stole his credit and ruined his promotion. Another had a nightmare neighbor who threw loud parties every single night and ignored every complaint. Everyone wanted a way to strike back, but nobody wanted to get caught or face a massive, expensive lawsuit. That's when a wild, dark spark went off in Peter's brain. He asked himself a very strange question. What is the ultimate universal symbol of pure, unadulterated disrespect? Poop! What if I create a secret website where you can pay me, and I will anonymously mail a package of actual animal feces directly to your worst enemy's front door? It sounded like a ridiculous, drunken joke you'd laugh about with your friends at a bar and forget the next morning. But Peter actually took it seriously. He bought a domain name, coded a simple, clean, and highly professional web page, and officially named his new startup Shit Express. The business model was beautifully simple, but completely evil. You would go to the website, type in your enemy's exact physical address, and choose your specific weapon of choice. Depending on how much you hated the person, you could choose between real, organic horse manure, heavy elephant dung, or extremely smelly gorilla poop. Then, you could choose how you wanted it packaged. To make the prank as psychological and devastating as possible, you could wrap it in beautiful, elegant birthday wrapping paper, tie a shiny silk ribbon around it, and even add a custom, polite note like, "Have a nice day." Imagine the victim's face opening a luxury, expensive-looking gift box with high expectations, only to find fresh, steaming manure inside their living room. But the real stroke of genius, the thing that turned this from a stupid high school prank into a highly secure, functioning international business, was how they handled privacy and security. Peter knew that if a furious, wealthy boss or an angry, powerful ex-partner found out who sent the package, there would be massive police investigations and cybercrime lawsuits. So, Shit Express became one of the very first mainstream startups in human history to completely ban traditional credit cards, bank accounts, and PayPal. Instead, they forced customers to pay exclusively using Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. This guaranteed absolute, 100% unbreakable anonymity. You could send a box of elephant dung to the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, and it was legally and technically impossible for the police or the FBI to trace it back to you. When the website officially launched, Peter spent exactly $0 on marketing. He just posted the link on a few random internet forums. Within 24 hours, The idea was so shockingly hilarious and controversial that major global news outlets like Vice, HuffPost, and NTV started writing massive front-page articles about it. Orders started flooding in from all over the planet. People were sending packages to corrupt politicians, terrible landlords, bad teachers, and cheating exes. In just its first 30 days of operation, this stupid website made over $10,000 in pure profit. Peter and his small team were literally driving out to local farms, buying buckets of fresh manure for pennies, packing them into luxury gift boxes with silk ribbons, and shipping them across international borders. Shit Express proved a shocking truth. You don't need a highly sophisticated product to build a massive global brand. Sometimes, you just need to find a deep human emotion, like the burning desire to prank your enemy, and make it as easy as clicking a single button. But as chaotic, messy, and loud as this poop startup was, our next case takes the concept of selling ridiculous things to human beings to a whole new, legendary level. Get ready, because we are about to cover the story of a luxury fashion giant that didn't just sell trash, they legally brainwashed the wealthiest people on earth into paying over $400 for a pair of jeans that were completely covered in fake, dried mud and looked like they hadn't been washed in months. Imagine walking into a high-end luxury boutique, surrounded by billionaires, international celebrities, and elite fashion designers, only to find a piece of clothing that looks like it was dug out of a filthy construction site. In the strange world of modern capitalism, logic often completely disappears, and what looks like absolute trash to a normal person becomes a highly sought-after status symbol for the wealthy. It all happened back in the spring of 2017. The luxury fashion industry was desperately looking for new, bizarre, and highly controversial ways to appear edgy, authentic, and street-smart to the public. They wanted to capture the raw, rugged aesthetic of the American working class. But a premium, high-end clothing brand named PRPS decided to take this creative concept to a dangerous, shocking, and hilarious extreme. They officially designed a new pair of premium men's denim jeans called the Barracuda straight-leg jeans. But there was a massive, unbelievable catch that no one in the fashion industry expected. These weren't normal, clean, stylish blue jeans that you could confidently wear to a high-end party or a nice dinner. The designers took these incredibly expensive, high-quality pants and intentionally, carefully caked them in thick, dark, artificial encrusted mud. The fake mud wasn't just painted on. It was literally baked directly into the fabric using a special heat treatment process. This meant the mud was dry, stiff to the touch, and completely permanent. It would never wash out in a laundry machine. The fake dirt covered the thighs, the knees, the pockets, and the lower hems. It looked exactly like a pair of filthy pants worn by a manual laborer who had been digging deep trenches in a dirty swamp for 3 months straight without taking a single shower. The strategy got even crazier and more controversial when Nordstrom, one of the most expensive, prestigious, and famous luxury department stores in the United States, officially listed these muddy jeans on their retail website. The price tag for this dirty garment? A staggering, mind-blowing $425. Nordstrom's official website product description read, and I quote, "These jeans embody rugged Americana workwear that's seen some hard-working action, with a crackled, caked-on mud coating that shows you're not afraid to get down and dirty." As soon as the online listing went live, the internet absolutely exploded in a massive wave of pure rage, disbelief, and heavy mockery. People on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok went completely wild, questioning the sanity of the fashion world. Nordstrom's website comment section was immediately hijacked by thousands of sarcastic internet trolls, leaving hilarious reviews. One user wrote, "Finally, a pair of jeans that allows me to look like I actually do manual labor, without the terrible inconvenience of having to leave my multi-million-dollar mansion." Another popular comment said, "Did I sell Nordstrom my actual dirty yard work pants for $300? They look exactly like this, but the mud is organic." Mike Rowe, the famous host of the legendary TV show Dirty Jobs, wrote a massive, viral open letter slamming the brand and Nordstrom. He publicly stated that these jeans weren't actual fashion, they were a cynical, offensive mockery of the working class, specifically designed for ultra-rich people who wanted to pretend to look like they actually worked a hard day in their lives. The internet consensus was clear and loud. This was the stupidest, most offensive, and most ridiculously overpriced piece of clothing in human history. But this is exactly where the real business magic and psychological manipulation happened. In the fast-paced world of modern marketing, there is a legendary, golden rule: negative attention is still attention. The massive wave of online hate, the millions of angry tweets, the viral memes, and the non-stop global news coverage created an unstoppable corporate phenomenon. Instead of ruining the brand or causing a boycott, the intense controversy turned these dirty, muddy jeans into the ultimate, exclusive status symbol for ultra-wealthy elite youth in New York, London, and Los Angeles. To these rich buyers, paying $425 for a pre-dirted pair of jeans became the ultimate way to show off their extreme wealth. It was a way of saying, "I am so incredibly rich that I can throw away hundreds of dollars just to look like a construction worker." Within just a few days of the internet outrage, the entire inventory was completely sold out worldwide, leaving thousands of people on waiting lists. The muddy jeans proved a fascinating psychological reality about modern consumer behavior. When you cater to the ultra-wealthy, traditional logic completely flies out the window. You don't sell the actual product. You sell the reaction, the controversy, the exclusivity, and the loud social statement it makes. But if you think paying $400 to look like a dirty mechanic is a bizarre way to spend money, wait until you see what people are paying for after they die. Because our next case takes us away from the crazy world of high fashion and sends us straight to the bottom of the deep blue ocean. We are about to explore the story of Eternal Reefs, a brilliant startup that discovered a way to turn dead human bodies into literal underwater architecture for fish. Death is the single most certain, expensive, and rigid industry in human history. For thousands of years, the ritual surrounding the end of human life has remained completely unchanged. You are forced to buy an overpriced wooden box, you purchase a tiny, depressing piece of grass in a crowded cemetery, and your loved ones visit a cold stone monument once a year. It is a massive, multi-billion-dollar global business built entirely on grief, guilt, heavy tradition, and real estate scarcity. But what happens when an ambitious, rule-breaking startup decides to completely disrupt the afterlife, firing a massive torpedo directly into the heart of the traditional funeral industry? Our third case takes us away from the superficial, ridiculous world of high fashion and plunges us deep into the dark, crushing silence of the Atlantic Ocean. We are about to explore the incredible, deeply moving story of Eternal Reefs, a brilliant, highly unusual startup that discovered a way to transform dead human bodies into permanent, underwater architectural concrete ball systems designed specifically to house thousands of ocean fish and rebuild the planet. The entire concept started not in a corporate boardroom or a funeral home, but with a beautiful, accidental realization by two college roommates and passionate scuba divers, Don Brawley and George Frankel. During the late 1980s, they spent almost all of their free time diving off the coast of Florida. Over the years, they watched with broken hearts as the natural coral reef slowly degraded, broke apart, and died due to pollution, climate change, and human activity. They realized that when coral reefs die, the entire marine ecosystem collapses. They wanted to fix this ecological disaster, so they founded a company to build large, heavy, eco-friendly concrete structures called reef balls to place on the ocean floor, giving marine life a sturdy foundation to grow on. But the business took a completely unexpected, emotional, and historic turn when Don Brawley's father-in-law, a man who loved the sea more than life itself, received a terminal medical diagnosis. He looked at Don and made a strange, beautiful dying request. He said,
"When my time comes, do not put me in a dark, suffocating hole in the ground. Mix my ashes into one of your concrete reef balls, and throw me to the bottom of the deep blue sea so I can spend eternity surrounded by life, helping the ocean breathe."
Don did exactly that. And in that precise moment of grief, love, and wild creativity, a revolutionary multi-million-dollar business idea was born. In 2001, Eternal Reefs officially opened its doors to the public, offering a service that sounded completely insane, illegal, and bizarre to traditional funeral directors. To get this business off the ground, the founders had to battle years of strict government regulations, environmental protection laws, and intense skepticism from the public. But they perfected a highly secure, fascinating, and deeply emotional process that changed everything. Here is exactly how this incredible process works today. Instead of a regular burial, the deceased individual is cremated at a very high temperature, turning the human body into roughly 4 to 6 pounds of fine, sterile ash. The family then travels to the company's specialized facility for what is called a casting day. This is not a depressing funeral. It is an active, hands-on celebration of life. The family members physically roll up their sleeves and participate in mixing the human ashes into a highly durable, specialized concrete formula. This isn't normal sidewalk concrete. It is a proprietary, pH-neutral mixture designed specifically to survive the harsh, corrosive saltwater environment of the ocean floor for at least 500 years. The wet mixture is then poured into a massive, hollow, dome-like mold that looks like a giant piece of Swiss cheese, weighing anywhere from 600 pounds to a staggering 4,000 pounds, depending on the tier the family selects. While the concrete is still wet, the emotional magic happens. The family is allowed to press their bare hands into the surface, write deeply personal messages, embed colorful sea glass, place seashells, and even secure military medals or favorite jewelry directly into the stone. Once the concrete cures, it officially becomes a permanent memorial reef. The final phase of the business is a massive logistical operation. The company loads these giant human stones onto heavy commercial barges and sails out to designated, government-approved ocean locations. The family follows behind on a separate passenger boat. Using massive industrial cranes, the company lowers the concrete structure straight down through the water column until they sit permanently on the ocean floor. Because of their heavy weight and unique aerodynamic holes, these structures are completely hurricane-proof. They cannot be displaced by the most violent underwater storms. Within just a few weeks of placement, a beautiful biological miracle occurs. The pH-neutral concrete acts like a magnet for marine life. Algae, nutrients, and microorganisms start to rapidly grow over the human concrete. Schools of fish, crabs, sea anemones, and sea turtles move inside the hollow structure, using the holes to hide from predators. A dead human body literally becomes a thriving, breathing, highly active underwater metropolis. The prices for these underwater graves are far from cheap, ranging anywhere from $4,000 for a smaller individual reef to over $9,000 for a massive family reef structure where spouses can be mixed together. Yet, despite the high cost, the demand has absolutely skyrocketed. Thousands of people, especially military veterans, scuba divers, ocean lovers, and passionate environmentalists began explicitly writing in their legal wills that they wanted to become coral houses after death. For the families left behind, the psychological impact was profound and healing. Instead of visiting a depressing, silent graveyard surrounded by tears, rotting dirt, and dead flowers, they could rent a beautiful boat, sail out into the open ocean, look down at the bright blue water, and know that their loved ones were actively creating new, vibrant life at the bottom of the sea. Eternal Reefs proved an incredible entrepreneurial truth. The most successful modern businesses are the ones that take a deeply painful human experience and completely reframe it into something beautiful, purposeful, and permanent. But as incredibly beautiful, profound, and ecologically brilliant as this underwater graveyard business is, it still required people to die, and it required a massive amount of emotional depth from the consumer. What if we stripped away all the emotion, all the grand environmental purposes, and instead focused entirely on the absolute basest, most unapologetic instinct of the modern human race: pure, unadulterated laziness? Because our fourth and final case is the absolute grand finale of this video. Get ready to meet the ultimate entrepreneur who looked at the human race, realized people were too lazy to even tilt their heads to look at a television screen, and built a massive, multi-million-dollar viral product empire designed exclusively for the absolute laziest people on Earth. What if the ultimate secret to making millions of dollars in modern business has absolutely nothing to do with building rockets, inventing artificial intelligence, or working hard, but is instead built entirely on weaponizing the absolute most pathetic, shameful, and hidden human desire: pure, unadulterated laziness? Welcome to the multi-million-dollar empire of the lazy glasses, a bizarre, viral optical phenomenon that officially proved you can become filthy rich by helping human beings become completely motionless. This is the unbelievable story of how a dirt-cheap medical device designed for severely paralyzed hospital patients was violently hijacked by brilliant e-commerce entrepreneurs, transformed into a massive global internet sensation, and sold to millions of completely healthy, fully capable people who were simply too exhausted, stubborn, and lazy to tilt their heads by a single millimeter to look at their television screens. To understand how this ridiculous plastic product generated millions of dollars almost overnight, we have to dissect the exact consumer psychology behind the problem it solved. It is a problem that modern humans face every single night, yet it's a crisis we are too embarrassed to admit out loud. Picture this highly relatable, late-night scenario. You are lying completely flat on your back in bed. Your head is buried deep into a soft, expensive pillow. You are desperately craving to watch your favorite Netflix show on the TV mounted across the room, or you want to scroll through TikTok on your smartphone. But you hit a painful, exhausting biological obstacle. If you lie perfectly flat, human anatomy forces your eyeballs to look straight up at the white ceiling. To actually see the screen, you are forced to make a terrible sacrifice. You must lift your heavy neck, strain your muscles, prop yourself up with 3 uncomfortable pillows, or awkwardly hold your heavy phone directly above your face, praying it doesn't slip out of your tired hands and smash directly into your nose. To the hyper-fatigued, modern digital consumer, this minor physical effort feels like heavy, torturous manual labor. This is exactly where the absolute genius of optical physics and shameless capitalism collided. Decades ago, scientists invented a highly serious, specialized medical device called bed spectacles. They were created for a noble, tragic purpose: to help completely paralyzed individuals, victims of severe spinal cord injuries, or patients locked in full body casts who literally could not move their necks, allowing them to read books or see their doctors. The engineering behind them was beautiful in its simplicity. The glasses utilized 2 internal optical prisms aligned at a precise 90-degree angle, functioning exactly like a tactical submarine periscope. When you put them on, even if your face is pointed directly up at the sky, the prisms violently bend the incoming light waves. This allows the wearer to see perfectly down toward their feet or straight ahead at a wall with a crystalline view, without moving a single muscle, tendon, or nerve in their neck. A few years ago, a group of sharp, aggressive e-commerce entrepreneurs scrolling through medical supply catalogs had a sudden, mind-blowing realization. Why are we restricting this golden invention to hospital patients? The modern world is packed with millions of perfectly healthy, wealthy people who are just phenomenally, historically lazy, and they will happily spend real money to achieve ultimate physical comfort. They immediately hijacked the medical design, stripped away the clinical branding, and completely re-engineered it into the ultimate, must-have viral lifestyle accessory for the tech-addicted generation. They manufactured the frames using cheap, ultra-lightweight plastics, slapped on comfortable nose pads, and launched highly aggressive, hypnotic social media video campaigns across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. The advertisements didn't try to look elegant or professional. They were intentionally hilarious, bizarre, and deeply relatable. They featured perfectly healthy young people lying entirely flat in bed, like completely brain-dead zombies, effortlessly eating snacks, and watching movies with absolutely zero movement. The marketing message screamed a loud, unapologetic truth. You work hard all day long. Why should your neck have to work while you try to relax? Stop struggling. Fully embrace your inner laziness. The internet absolutely lost its mind, and the product went violently viral. Millions of gamers, college students, and exhausted corporate workers began purchasing these $15 plastic glasses. At first, people bought them purely as a joke or a funny gift for a friend, but the moment they actually put them on, they realized a shocking truth. The glasses worked flawlessly. The Amazon reviews section for these glasses instantly transformed into a historic goldmine of modern internet comedy, featuring thousands of unironic, 5-star emotional testimonies. One user wrote, "This product is an absolute masterpiece of human laziness. I can now lie flat like a corpse and scroll on my phone for 8 hours straight without my arms getting tired or my neck aching. I look like a complete idiot wearing them, but I have officially achieved the absolute peak of human evolutionary comfort." From a strict business perspective, the lazy glasses empire exposes the raw, uncut reality of modern capitalism. To build a massive, highly profitable consumer product empire, you do not need to solve the world's energy crisis, and you do not need to build complex software. Sometimes, the fastest way to make millions of dollars is to simply look closely at the daily lives of regular human beings, isolate a tiny, embarrassing moment of physical laziness, and hand them a cheap plastic tool that allows them to do absolutely nothing even better. It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that in the modern economy, if you can successfully save a human being from moving their neck by a single inch, they will happily hand you their hard-earned money every single time.